In today's lesson, we're going to see how we can make historical landmarks appear in our videos. So let's get started. I have two clips right here, one of the Eiffel Tower and the other one of the Statue of Liberty. We're going to begin by dragging our clip into the timeline. And now let's talk about the type of videos that work best with this effect. So it's really important that your video is shot on a tripod. We don't want movement. And another thing is that you want to make sure that the building is easy to remove inside Photoshop. If there's a lot of stuff going on, maybe there's like a bird flying over it, and maybe it's a time lapse, you don't want to use that video because it will make your experience in Photoshop really hard. So here I have a clear sky, there's nothing going in front of the building, and I have the same situation for the Statue of Liberty. It is a time lapse, but as you can see, the clouds don't go too close to the statue and nothing flies over it, so I'm good to go. Let's begin with this one. I'm going to move my playhead at the start of this video, and we're going to export the frames. So click on this right here. Let's call this background, format, PNG, and click this. Hit OK. Do it one more time, but this time we're going to call it building. Again, PNG, import into project. Now go to your project panel and bring these right in. First the background and then the building. I'm going to change their color so we can stay organized as we go. Now disable the building, go to your background, make sure you're at the start. We're going to right click on this picture, edit in Adobe Photoshop. So just like After Effects, when you open a project like this, everything you do here will be linked to your Premiere Pro project. So once I'm done here, I could save it, and then I will get the updated image inside Premiere Pro. So in Photoshop, we have our layer. We don't want to duplicate this because this layer is linked, and we want to do every removing process here. So first, let's get rid of the building by simply grabbing the pen tool. I'm going to grab it right here and going around the building. Now, because the sky is clear, I will have an easier time removing this building. But if I had a really crowded sky, then it will just be really difficult. Zoom right in. We're just going to have to be really precise when it comes to the trees. Get rid of the stroke so it's less distracting. Hold down Control or Command to move a point in another way. You can also make new points by pressing Command or Control, pull it where they need to go. Alright, you can also hold down the spacebar to move the canvas. Let's zoom in right here and try to get a nice selection. Try not to go on top of the trees, but on like the outskirts, so that later we can blend it in better with the patch tool and just some clone tools. Alright, once you have your selection, close your mask, hit Z on my keyboard, fit on screen. Grab your pen tool, right click, or hold down Control Enter to make this a selection. You should see the marching ants. Now grab your video and hold down Shift Backspace to get the fill box. Grab Content Aware, Blend Mode Normal, 100% opacity, then hit OK. So it should remove it perfectly. Once you're done, Command D to get rid of the selection, and we're just going to clean things up down here. So the top, because there was nothing on it, we were able to get it out quite nicely. The trees are fine too, we just get this little area that I can fix with the patch tool. You can even try the The clone tool, it's really up to you. So use your tool of choice, get rid of it. You can also grab the healing brush tool. Option or Alt, grab your sample point and just like fill up this area. Gonna get the clone tool, alter option to grab your reference point and just like clear that pink color that we have. Make sure that your brush is set on soft round so we don't get harsh edges. Now this frame is gonna be on screen for like a few seconds, so it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to be on screen for that long. All right, I'm going to leave mine here. Maybe soften out this area a bit. All right, so now I don't have the Eiffel Tower here. We got rid of it. It's looking good. Now you can hit save or just export this. It's really up to you. So once we're back into Premiere Pro, we've got ourselves the, I'm going to hide that, the image without the building, the one we just did. And next we're going to bring back the building video. Let's hide the background. Right click on this, and this time we're trying to preserve the building alone. I'm going to close off the previous project. And now we're just going to grab the building. This time we do want to be precise, especially if there's like clouds in the air. I'm going to start from below. So for this one, we're going to grab the quick selection tool, select subject. It will do a good job. Just hold down Alt or Option to remove from the areas that shouldn't be there. And there we are. If you want to bring some of the areas in, just maybe make the brush size smaller, which I'm doing with the left and right bracket key. The smaller the brush, the more precise the selection. So make sure your building is all the way there and you're not missing out like the smaller bits, because it will look weird when we do the animation inside Premiere Pro. Now once you made your selection, go into Select and Mask, and we're just going to clean things up. And using your favorite tool, you can just soften out the areas. Again, a smaller brush will help you a lot. So avoid working with big brushes. All right, when you're done, hit OK. And we're just gonna zoom out. Then right click on your selection, select inverse. So we're getting everything but the building. Now what we're gonna do is to just hit the delete button to get rid of everything but the building. Once you're done, Command D. If there's any areas that are left out here, that's okay. We're gonna mask it out inside Premiere Pro. Again, Command S, Control S on Windows to save. Go back to your project and we should just get the building. So if I hide my original video, we just have the building. If you want to do like a build-up sequence, you would have to do this multiple times. Maybe get the top of the Eiffel Tower, the bottom, the middle, and just stack up the pieces like so. So once we have this, we're going to grab the first picture, the background, and we're just going to mask out this area so the video can play underneath and we just don't get the building. Go to Effect Controls, Opacity, Pen Tool, mask it around the area that the building was. And now the video plays underneath, but we just don't have a Eiffel Tower. Now this is why it's so important to have a tripod shot, or else you would have to animate the mask movements. So this is my background. I'm just gonna grab my other video. Then we're going to repeat the same thing. So just grab the background, copy the mask, paste it on your building layer. So now we have a mask on the building. I'm just going to grab it in the center. We have a mask for the building, and we have a mask in the area of the building. So the video should play normally with or without the building. Be sure to feather things out. Let's grab like 15 for feather. Do it here too. I'm going to do my animation of choice. Grab the transform effect. Drag the transform effect on your building layer. The background stays as it is. You can just lock it. Now on the building, we're going to go to the effects panel. Close this off and do any animation that you want. So I'm going to have the Eiffel Tower come from below, and therefore I need to make a simple position animation. Let's move in 10 frames, 15 frames. Hold down Shift, 1, 2, 3, 15 frames. Make a keyframe for position. Go to the beginning, maybe 5 frames before. And just pull this all the way down. So it should disappear completely. And we're going to get this effect. Play around with the speed. All right, I got my thing. And also be sure to add motion blur. Try 360 because it is a fast motion. So the building should come in like that with the motion blur. Now the problem is that we're getting it on top of the trees, and that's not good. So go to your mask right here, and we're just going to alter the point so that the tower can show up from behind the trees. So grab your mask, grab your move tool, and just pull these up like this, basically in the area that we made inside Photoshop. Once you're done, you want to make sure the feathering is okay. Go back and see if everything is good. So let's go to where the building is in there. Click away. And I just want to see how this guy shows up. So I have a little area to pull back from. Let's go back on my mask and just pull this a little back. Because of the feathering, we're getting that ring around the trees. Let's go back, and now my building shows up from behind the trees. The Eiffel Tower is back where it was. Now another thing that we need to do is to create some sort of indication that the building is actually coming from the ground. So I have this simple dust overlay that I'm going to grab right above. Change the blend mode to screen. And we're just going to have to position it on the building. So just grab it. Let's put it in like that. Scale it down if needed. And then mask out the area. So I'm going to go into my building, copy the mask, and paste it on my dust overlay. This way I can ensure that the dust shows up in the right areas and put this where it should go. Actually, we can just make a mask from scratch since the size is a little different. Reduce this to like 39. Pull it down so it covers this area, and we can just grab the pen tool to just take it away from the trees and have it come from behind them. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to feather this out quite a bit. There it is. Invert the mask, and now it's only going to be there. Feather the mask as well, and I'm just going to make another one around the edges so we don't get these harsh lines. I'm going to pull the mask this way so I can get rid of the edge too. Alright, now I can uninvert it. And the smoke is just going to be on that area. Let's click away and see if the smoke shows up at the right time. If it doesn't, we just need to pull it forward, and then we get a more natural result. Around here, when the building shows up, I'm going to do a simple opacity animation so it can just fade out. So there we go. Shows up, we get the smoke, and then the smoke fades away. There we are. I'm gonna cut the excess bit. If your selection is good in Photoshop, after the images, your video should look normal. But if you didn't do a good job, you're gonna see like a jump. So this was how we can make a building show up. Next, we're going to learn how to make a building fall from the sky and land where it should be. So we're going to do that in the next lesson with the Statue of Liberty.